enough of that. Comment down below. Can you hear the Lanterne Rouge? Tell me about the mic quality. We're live. I just paid $10,000 for all those graphics, so I hope you appreciate them. That's how much money YouTubers make. We're not going to get into the Chris Froome vegan diet straight away. We're gonna leave that for a little bit. But first of all, thanks for joining the Lanterne Rouge live stream. It's early where I am. Well, I've got my sunglasses on, well, because this lighting's so bright. But we'll take it off now. Jesus Christ. Those of you that know, this is a Tour Down Under 2017. That was an official hat. They're worth a lot on the black market these days. Alright, let me adjust the mic quality. Okay, so first we're going to get into the Romain Bardet going to the... see, transition that across. Romain Bardet going to the Giro d'Italia instead of the Tour de France. Obviously, Bardet won the King of the Mountains jersey in the 2019, this year's Tour de France. But it's just a weird year for him to go to the... okay, let's make it louder. It's just a weird year for him to go to the Giro d'Italia instead of the Tour de France. The Tour, I don't know, people, or SK in the live chat said he's doing the right decision, but the Giro has more TT kilometres than the Tour de France. Romain Bardet is not good at time trialling, that's for sure. Probably the worst time trialist of the GC contenders, although I don't think he's really a GC contender. So, to be honest, like, he's not a GC contender on the level of, you know, Froome, Dumoulin, Roglic, Bernal, and co. So he may as well be going to... I think he should just go to the Tour de France again and pick a better year for the Giro. Maybe he's just sick of the Tour de France. I think it's something to do with not wanting to go to... I'm trying to get this volume right. It's not wanting to go to, you know, the Tour with all the pressure. Seems to be the main issue, to be honest. That's my opinion. What do I think he should do at the Giro? Well, go for stage wins. He's not going to beat. I agree with JW in the chat. There is zero chance. I think there's close to zero chance Romain Bardet ever wins a Grand Tour. I think he got lucky to get on the Tour de France podium. It's just a sort of an anomaly year when it just all worked out for him. Just like when Perot got on the Tour de France podium, I think that was an anomaly, and I don't think I just don't think he should go. He's like Jakob Fuglsang. You know, Jakob Fuglsang's been trying to put a square peg in a round hole for maybe 2 to 3 years now, and it's clear that Richie Porte, Romain Bardet, Jakob Fuglsang are different riders, even though they probably have the same 20-minute power profile than Chris Froome and Roglic, or a similar 20-minute. Their power curve is similar looking, but that doesn't mean they're exactly the same rider. And in terms of recovery in a 3-week race, there's these freaks like Tadej Pogačar, Egan Bernal, who just genetically, whatever it is, gift, they are able to, in a 3-week race, recover. And Tadej Pogačar, Romain Bardet in his life has done thousands more kilometres than Tadej Pogačar and prepared for the Tour de France, but for some reason Tadej Pogačar can win the last stage or the last mountainous stage of Vuelta a España because he just has the recovery. Because, as I've said before, he wasn't doing big watts when he won that Vuelta stage. Big watts, he wasn't doing like 6 watts per kilo or anything. It was like 5.2 watts per kilo. But everyone was cooked. It was the end of the season. Everyone was cooked. Whereas Bardet, I think, should go for, back to my point, he should go for 1-week stage races, like, you know, Richie Porte, Jakob Fuglsang crush 1-week stage races where you don't have to recover as much. He should go for Liège-Bastogne-Liège, Flèche-Wallonne, where he's got in top 10 before in one of those 2 races. I remember years ago, even when he was a younger rider, top 10 in those races. He's got to actually get an alright sprint on him, Romain Bardet. So I think he should go for those sort of races, and then he should target the Italian Fall Classics, Tre Valli Varesine, Giro d'Emilia, and obviously Il Lombardia. Probably Il Lombardia suits him a little bit more. So it seems, I'm reading the chat now, he might be going for Giro Vuelta double. I don't think so. I mean, he might be, but I think that's stupid. I think he should, yeah, everyone seems to agree that he should go for one-day races and maybe 1 week stage races, and also, or if it, during the Giro, just go for stages. That's why I think he should have done the Tour de France this year and just get his team management, get Asia du Mondial, get them to say to the French media, listen, Romain is not contending for GC this year. He's just going to go for stage wins. It's perfect for him to go to stage wins. Gets 3 stage wins. That's better than sort of coming 12th on GC, in my opinion. But anyway, let's transition over to a different topic. Chris Froome. I think Chris Froome, he's actually a pretty funny guy. I think you can't, he's not like when another rider comes out and says they've done something, you've got to take it with a pinch. You know, you sort of believe them, take their word for it. I think Chris Froome's a bit of a troll. Let's be real. Chris Froome likes to troll here now and then. I think I've said this before, I think once he retires, he's going to talk a lot of smack on Twitter, in a funny way. Like, in a funny way, I think he's pretty funny. So this is in May. But by the way, elephant in the room, vegan, not vegan, whatever. Like, people are always commenting on my video, you should go vegan. You're looking pretty chubby. It's like, bro, I'm looking chubby because I sit on my ass all day working as a lawyer. Then I come home and make videos. I'm already vegan. Been vegan for like 4 years, but I just don't make. It's not the point of the channel, so it's not really relevant. So I don't have I don't really have a vested interest in either of this. Froome, in May this year it was, let's have a look. Yeah, when was this? 27 March 2019 he came out. Because remember when he put out, okay, I said this at the time and I spoke to a lot of people. I think I discussed this with During Rider as well and some other people. I was like, remember when Chris Froome put up the eggs and salmon Instagram the morning of a Tour de France stage? Shout out to Cycling Pulse in the live chat. Go check them out. Cycling Pulse. Remember when he put up that sort of eggs and salmon in the Tour de France, and I was like, he's not eating that. It was avocado or something. It's like a keto low-fat diet. And I made one of my first videos I ever made, but when I was like still baby Lanterne making really trash videos, and didn't realize that I probably should tone it down a little bit, was the keto diet one, because everyone was like, after he put up that Instagram, everyone said, oh, Chris Froome's on a keto diet. It's like, are you fucking kidding me? You think Chris Froome is on a keto diet? When anyone's on a keto diet riding the Tour de France, but people were saying something like that. Now, maybe he was doing like some low carb calorie restriction during off season, sure, but in the Tour de France, definitely not. They were doing high level carbohydrate consumption. Like, I'm not just saying this because I'm like some sort of high carb fanboy. Like, they've said this during like the Giro d'Italia stages. You know, they're smashing the maltodextrin, just like Ferrari had with Savoldelli. And there's not new science. So, but then Chris Froome said this in March. So I don't really know. Like, is it believable to me that he's watched it? Because that he's watched a Netflix nutrition documentary. Tour de France, multiple time Tour de France winner, best rider of the last 10 years. He's watched a Netflix documentary, and he's decided that, that's sufficient evidence. I'll go vegan. Now, if that's the case, then that video, that documentary was much more effective than I thought it was, and I got to give it a lot more credit. And maybe it just like sparked it in Chris Froome's head, but I don't know. I don't know. Do game changers pay people? I didn't really know whether to believe it or not. I think Chris Froome, I think he's a pretty smart guy. I don't really, yeah. So I think jury's on the fence. I don't think you can. I think he's definitely not low carb keto sort of guy. You know, especially during races, 100% not. Do I think Chris Froome during the last 10 years sits down and eats steak and chips before Tour de France stages like they did in the 60s? 100% no. I think he's probably eating his macro splits were probably close to a high carb vegan diet anyway. But do I think he's 100% vegan? don't know. Maybe. I hope so. That'd be great. If he was, that'd be awesome. Um, I know a lot of riders, a lot of younger riders um, who are vegan, and I think there's a lot of people in the pro peloton who are vegan. Obviously, Adam Hansen's outspoken vegan, but there are a lot who are, and they keep it secret because their coaches don't understand, particularly French, Spanish coaches. They don't really understand how you can be vegan when you need to eat all that dairy and stuff. But Bernal, maybe it came from, I think, if you guys have really been following Egan Bernal on Instagram, if you follow him, straight after the Tour de France, now this is what really piqued my attention, because you know who controls diet, you know who runs the world is the women in men's lives. So Egan Bernal, his misso is vegetarian at least. She's at least vegetarian. Not sure if she's vegan. And if you watch Bernal's vlogs from earlier in the year, his girlfriend and his mum cook all this food, and help his recovery and stuff. And I think pretty sure she's veggie, and makes him watch these documentaries and stuff. So straight after he won the Tour de France, Bernal put up a documentary of him eating General Amorous. What are you talking about? Plant-based, don't use vegan. Mate, I live in the real world, not whatever that means. He put up this Instagram saying, watching like Forks Over Knives or something. Anyway, I think vegan or not, plant-based or not, you should be eating, these Grand Tour guys are eating a high carbohydrate split just to get enough calories in, basically. So what was the next topic? It was going back to home. Transition. So now we're going to talk a little bit about, if I can transition it. We're struggling here. Let's read it. Oris SK. Froome is trolling the media, always doing what they think he can't do. Hunter Grove. Froome is a troll. Yep, I agree. He's a troll. He eats probably 70 parts carbs. I agree. Diamond Guru, he's not winning the Tour de France 2020. I 100% agree with that. I don't think there's any way Froome wins the Tour de France or the Olympics race. Jed Valentina Shrewsbury, as a veggie that cycles, I can say for sure that it doesn't work because I'm still trash. Same here, buddy. I go just as slow after vegan as I did before. I think not training is probably the biggest, not doing much training is the biggest problem for me. All right, second topic was, remember how there was this narrative, right? And it has been for a couple of years, and I bought into it too, because it's kind of funny, and it's a lazy narrative, and it's to say, Richie Porte just, he peaks for Tour Down Under. Why is Trek Segafredo paying him all this money? Why are BMC paying him all this money, this GC guy, for him to peak his power profile and his 5-minute power, and the biggest race he wins is the Tour Down Under and the Wollonga stage, which he wins just about every year. Why does Richie Porte do that when they're paying him the big bucks to win the Tour de France, win the Giro d'Italia, or win Paris-Nice? And why is he doing all these kilometers in the off season and peaking like that? And I thought, yeah, that's right. That's what Richie Porte does. He's a silly man. And then I was like, well, does Porte actually do more Ks in the off season than Alejandro Valverde? Does he actually? I'm not sure that's actually the case, because if we go to his Strava, this is this year, but last year during December he did let's have a look. He did 850, 850 in December, and I was like, and I was looking at this, and before I went to the other riders' profiles, and I was like, this is fucking crazy. What's he doing 800 Ks? I was prompted by this because there was an Instagram post by this American dude, Eamon someone that lives in Europe, talking about, all you Californian guys doing these Ks in November, you're stupid. But it's like, I don't know who that guy was. Anyway, I was like, oh, 750Ks, this is crazy. But then I thought, oh, well, who is the god of training? Who is the god of managing his managing his efforts, managing his training intensity throughout the year? It's obviously Alejandro Valverde. And I was like, oh, in my mind I thought, oh, well, Alejandro Valverde, he does like 50Ks a week, coffee rides during the off season, and then just gets fit through racing. Went to his Strava, and he did a, like, what, 600K weeks, 600K weeks during December. 1st of January, 900K week, 950K week. Now maybe he's doing a little bit less than Porte, and what this doesn't show is the intensity. It doesn't show really, because neither of them have their power on there. So I can't see, unlike Bernal, an average speed. Average speed won't tell you really the intensity. You know, if I was able to go into Richie Porte's Strava, and in, you know, if he's doing 6 by 2 minutes as part of this 100K ride, which you won't be able to figure out through the speed alone. If he's doing 6 by 2 minutes at this time of the year, you probably think, oh well, that's retarded. Like, why is he doing that? I doubt he actually is. I doubt he is doing that. I reckon he's just doing. I mean, no one at this level does just zone 2 base anymore. That's some 1970s shit. No one does that. They're all doing efforts of some description. Not hard out max efforts. You know, it's as Hunter Grove said, it's medium endurance, but there's also some threshold work in there, tempo work, some sprints as well. When you look at Bernal, I might look at Egan Bernal's December training load, but they're not just doing zone 2 for 6 hours every day and nothing else. Even, you know, Valverde, etc. So you will hear it. You will hear this year during whatever stage race, whatever it is, that Richie Porte is sort of overworks during December and November and January and peaks too early. And I'm not sure the training data actually supports that. I think the real answer for why Richie Porte fades at the end of race at the end of a 3-week Grand Tour is what I spoke about maybe 10 minutes ago, where it's just a recovery thing. It's just a recovery thing compared to riders like Bernal who have it. You know, it's just that's not who he is. When he was a super domestique for Froome, if one day he goes out the back, it doesn't really matter so much. But when you can't lose any time and you can't have a bad day, it makes a big difference. All right. This was a question requested from Linda James on the community tab when I posted shouting out this live stream. The Freeman Tribunal. I won't spend too long on this. I've already done a video initially on the tribunal. It's kind of irritating me, to be honest, a little bit. It's a waste of time. Honestly, it's a circus. I was following it really closely, and I was like, this is a joke. And I'm a lawyer, so I know how these things work. I know what's going on, and he's got pretty smart. His barrister's pretty smart, and she's doing a really, really good job, I think, for Freeman defending him. But Patrick Grant says Nate Diaz should retire. Maybe we'll get to some UFC a little bit later. Check out the UFC Bros YouTube channel where I talk UFC. But nothing's happening. So there's 4 dudes at British Cycling who've been there throughout the whole time. Shane Sutton, the Peters psychologist or doctor or whatever, Freeman the head doctor, and Sir Dave Brailsford. And 3 of those dudes have basically turned up at this tribunal and have just slung mud at each other. And let's just not forget, they're arguing and shouting. All these three guys who were the head figureheads of British cycling, controlling everything. They're all pointing the finger, shouting about who and why that testosterone was ordered directly to British Cycling headquarters, the Manchester Velodrome, and why there was no paperwork related to that packet. And people are asking me, oh, well, was it for this reason that Freeman said it? Was it for this reason said it? It's like, you guys have above 70 IQ. Comment in the live chat if you have above 70 IQ. because I have just above 70 IQ. If you do, you know the answer. It ain't anything that Freeman is saying. Alright? So, we all know the answer now. It's obvious. Alright? So the result doesn't matter. Will anyone get banned, anything like that? Probably not, to be honest. Probably not. Does that mean that the court of public opinion can't decide what's happened with above 70 IQ? Yeah, so that's what's going to happen. I don't know. I've lost interest in it because, no one's going to get banned, nothing like that. There's some good, but if you are interested in it, go and watch. Go and read Sean Ingle at The Guardian, Matt Lawton. I think he was at the Daily Mail. He's at the Times now, and Dan Rowan, BBC News. I think they're the three guys that are covering themselves in glory. All the other cycling journalists that have done shadow, ghost written autobiographies for people who have, man, I don't want to go in too hard on people, but man, David Walsh, like, why did he want to go so hard against Lance, but then didn't want to ask questions about what was going on in British cycling? Yeah, don't understand that. Anyway, enough about that. Transition back. Alright, let's answer some questions. Do I have any thoughts on Arkea, Samsic, and Quintana? Yeah, my thoughts are they ain't winning nothing. I feel bad for Quintana. Well, actually, no, I don't. I don't feel bad for Quintana. I just think Arkea aren't winning too much. 87 Sigs. Lance is a bad guy, though, right? Yeah, actually, this was what I said I was going to talk about. Okay, so this is interesting, right? This is interesting. When I put up that top 5 supernatural performances, that's probably been one of my most successful videos ever. And, like, massive engagement, massive watch time. So many people watched that, so many people commented on it. And the difference was, as well, I put up a Contador Lance video before, and there was a lot of dislikes. People were like, how dare you, talk about Lance Armstrong, how dare you cover this? Whereas this video, people were like, yeah, this is sick. Let's look at the doping era. And I remembered, and I was talking about this, I think, to people on Instagram. I'll just play the video in the background quietly while I talk about it. I realised cycling has this bizarre sort of... Oh, no, that's me. Oh, no, that is me. That's correct. Wow, it looks weird when you see yourself. Cycling doesn't show any highlights from 2000 to 2010. And when you watch any sport, you watch football, cricket especially, NBA, any other sport, they'll show like comparable scenarios in a previous era. They'll show, what Michael Jordan did in the 2000, not 2000, what Michael Jordan did in 1995, in cricket, what Sachin Tendulkar did at the same ground in 2003 in Sydney. Wow, this FPS is lagging. They'll show previous era, and then in cycling broadcasts, I realised they don't show anything between 2000 and 2010, and obviously it's because you think the coverage is going to show like Lance going full gas in a TT. I don't think they show that anymore, right? But it's like, well, that was Lance Ulrich or Rasmussen, Landis, Pantani. That was the Tour de France from 98 to 2007. So there's no one else winning the big stages. There's no one else getting on the podium. So you either show it or you just bury that part of cycling. And it's like, we know they're all on gas. We know they were all on gas, and most people commenting my video don't care. Like, honestly, most people don't care. They're just like, let's look at this epic time in history, these epic performances, people battling out, the stories behind them were great. Yes, Lance, Floyd, and co. did some really shitty things, but not everyone cares about what people did off the off the bike. Like, not everyone cares. In fact, most people just want to be like, these are athletes. I'm here to watch the athletic performance. This was really exciting at the time, and it's awesome to see, the previous races of it. So I want all the, the coverage this year, next year, or next year basically. I want them to start showing Pantani, Lance going ham again. Why isn't can someone explain to me in the comments section why is Michael Rasmussen and Jan Ulrich, why Jan Ulrich got like actual sad like mental health issues at the moment. That's different. Wow, who puts all these ads during the middle of their video? What a shill. Trying to make money. Why is Rasmussen? He's not invited to the Tour de France. They say you cannot come. You can't. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to come to any events, etc. But Contador is a Eurosport commentator. How does that make any sense? Just embrace it. Oh, can I skip this? How does that make any sense? So I think we should. Anyone, if you disagree with me, just tell me in the live chat some like reasons why it's a bad idea to be having guys like this in the around cycling. Because if Vinokurov can manage a team, be a DS of a team, for Astana, then it's open season, right? Then everyone should. It's just open season. Anyone can do whatever. Ronan Hegarty, not sure if trolling. Contador didn't dope though. Well, he got banned for a doping violation, so there's that. All right, okay, let's do some quickfire Q&A. Olympic thoughts. Transition back. Olympic thoughts. Okay, I saw this. Actually, let's go to Reddit. I'll find it on Reddit. Someone said something, and I don't know if they're trolling me, and if they are, they're a genius because they triggered me. They triggered me really badly. If you like my channel, then you'll obviously also like. Let's go to our Peloton. If you like my channel, then you'll obviously also like our Peloton on Reddit. There's some awesome stuff in here. But Froome, here we go. All right. The Lanterne Rouge, and we're going to transition. If it ever loads, and transition. Bang. Okay, so this is a post on our Peloton about Froome's Olympic hopes hindered by team rider quota. Let's just wait for Chris Froome to compete in any sort of race before we're talking Olympics. I don't think Froome's winning Tour de France or contending for it. I don't think he is contending at the Olympics. Not because the profile doesn't suit him at the Olympics. I just think he nearly died, man. Like, I mean, and there's no way he can be back. I mean, you look at Wout van Aert. Look at how long Wout van Aert. I'm really worried that he may never come back properly as he was before. But anyway, can someone tell me, are these people trolling Reed Cavendish? We'll do two birds with one stone here. So Froome shouldn't go to the Olympics. Someone else should get that spot. Although if there's no one really, actually now I'm contradicting myself. If British cycling don't really have someone that can pull the same interest and get as many eyes on the television, and is not, if the person they'd replace him with wouldn't really win anyway, then what's the point in then just take Froome as a marketing exercise if they're, and he can probably help people on a lead out or help be a domestique for someone, for Yates. The profile suits Yates a lot more. Guy says in the live chat, MVDP is doing Olympics on mountain bike. That is correct. Elia Viviani is doing Olympics just on the track. He's not doing the road race because the road race is way too hard for him. Jakob Fuglsang is the favourite for the Olympics, I reckon. The Olympics road race. Oh, and by the way, the Olympics, I'm going to be doing a 20-day straight live stream for every minute of the Olympics next year. That's what I've been spending the last 3 weeks organising behind the scenes with people, trying to get the technical stuff organised for that. That's going to be pretty crazy. So 20 days straight on the live streaming, maybe even when I'm sleeping. Pat, are you on the Australian quota? If not, you should be. I should be on the Australian team marketing team. Although Mitchell and Scott, they're not the Australian team, but Mitchell and Scott actually probably have close to the best social media marketing. They're not as big as they're not as big as Team Sky or Ineos, but they actually do pretty well on YouTube, etc. For their sponsors, so they don't really need my help. But is this guy trolling? Cavendish will be the captain anyway. 2020 is his redemption season. And then the next guy says he'll have to learn to hang on a climb to want any shot at road goal. It's like, guys, I'll let you in on a little secret, okay? This is a secret. Only I know this. It's about these 6-day races. They don't mean shit. Those 6-day track races don't mean shit, okay? Let's look at how Cavendish did in 2019 on the road. Man wasn't getting top 5 in anything. He's done. Cavendish is done. I called this 2 years ago, okay? He's not winning anything anymore. He's gone to Bahrain Merida. He's getting that fat check. He's done. Making me mad out here with these Reddit comments. Jesus. Like, these 6-day races, the 6 days in London, I'm not saying it's fixed to the level of, they're part exhibition, Hunter Grove. They're part exhibition. They're not like the Shanghai criteriums and those like Tour de France criteriums, which are literally before the race. They go down, they say, now listen, we're going to have the hometown guy, he's going to attack here, you're going to catch him here, and you're going to let him come second. Who was the Japanese guy, the Tokyo one, that beat some other guys, that beat like Bernal in a sprint? Like, so, Hunter, the Journey race is fixed. So, like, 6 days in London, that doesn't mean Cavendish is back, right? Viviani on the track is like, bang. Viviani's legit on the track, Cavendish is done. He's gone to Bahrain Merida to get a check. I don't want to hear about it from the British fans anymore. Dislike the video if you disagree. When you watch, go and watch, I think the best race to watch is actually especially in the context of the Olympics for Recav, is go and watch the European road race championships and go and watch them trying to, his role on that team. Cav was a lead-out man. He was like the second lead-out man on that team. I can't remember who the British, the actual sprinter was for Britain in that race, but I know Cycling Pulse not going to like this. They're not going to like this. This is too much heat talking trash about Cavendish. But yeah, probably not my favourite rider, to be honest. All right, some more questions. What would Cav have to do in terms of results in the next year for you to be convinced he could compete? Win a race. Win any form of race. Will be competitive in a sprint. Best sprinters in the world. Caleb Ewan, number 1. Oof, so many people think Groenewegen number 1. I think it's Caleb Ewan because Champs-Élysées sprint counts as 10 extra wins in my book. Champs-Élysées sprint counts extra. Maybe I'm biased. Groenewegen number 2, and then there's a gap. Then there's a big gap. So I think those two are like actually quite a step above the rest of the guys. I think I'm gonna have a brain snap now. Oh, then it's the 2 Bora boys. 2 Bora boys, Pascal Ackermann and Jesus Christ, Sam Bennett. I think Bennett's third. Bennett's better than Pascal Ackermann, and then 4th. So then Ackermann's 4th, and then 5th is Viviani. I think I'm not talking like points jersey in the Tour de France. I'm talking who is like the best out-and-out sprinter and not on too hard terrain either. Obviously, Sagan is the most versatile, more versatile than any of those guys. And 6th is Viviani, but Viviani I think can make a really interesting career transition. He's obviously got really good outstanding sustained power over a short period of time. 4 minutes or less, world Olympic gold level. You saw what he did in the European road race. I think Viviani could make a really interesting transition, given what he was doing in the Tour de France, on the front for Quickstep, on the front in the mountains, at the base of mountains, doing genuine turns for Julien Alaphilippe. Voice crack, puberty hit me. I think Viviani can start to win a lot more different races next year, if that's what he wants to do. Sort of like Michael Matthews. style races. I think he can get into breaks, and then obviously, yeah, Viviani in a straight line is not as quick as Caleb Ewan and Dylan Groenewegen and Sam Bennett and Pascal Ackermann. That's pretty. I don't think that's controversial. He's got the best lead out in the world. Quickstep's got the best lead out in the world. They win so many races, and Viviani didn't finish a lot of the time on the flat stages. But then in a reduced bunch sprint, if he's sprinting against Yves Lampaert, if he's in a reduced bunch with Mads Pedersen, and someone else like that, he's winning that sprint 9 times out of 10. So yeah, I'm looking for him to be used a bit differently. He'll be at Cofidis next year, I think. Is he at Cofidis? Hopefully he gets used a bit differently and sort of attacks things in a more versatile way, because he won't have the quick-step lead-out anymore. And if he can't win flat sprints against Ewan and Groenewegen with the quick-step lead-out, then he's not winning them with Cofidis lead-out, that's for sure. All right, do I reckon Gaviria will have a good 2020 season? Yeah, actually I do. I think Gaviria just had a strange season. He won a race in the... excuse me. Won a race in the Guangxi World Tour race, the Chinese one. I know it's not a big race. It is World Tour race, but it's not a big race. I think Gaviria will have a better season. Giron. Groenewegen was still suffering from the consequences of his crash at the beginning of the tour. Not really a fair comparison. Excuse me. Maybe not, but I'm biased. I am biased. Froome is the best sprinter. Okay, for real now, let's get into the real talk. Who is the best sprinter between Chris Froome, Nairo Quintana, and Romain Bardet? That is what I really want to see. Who's the best sprinter out of those 3 guys? And Stefan Kruijswijk. Who's the best sprinter? I think it's Froome. Nairo. I think it's Froome, to be honest. Bardet. I think Thibaut Pinot is better than all 3 of those guys at sprinting. I think Contador was the worst at sprinting. He sucked at sprinting. But I think if Nairo somehow got into green in the Tour de France next year, if he got into green, I'd hang it up, man. It'd be done. It would be the funniest thing ever. Remco Olympics double. Who commented that? 87 Remco or Matthew on the road. Will Kittel return after break? Still good, swiping a raw power guy in the aero era. No, Marcel Kittel's retired. He's never come back. He hates cycling. Like, I don't mean the sport as a whole. I just think he really, really hates training. Like, the way they train. Because he's a normal person. I think Marcel Kittel's a normal person. And normal people don't want to do 900 kilometres on their own in November. After they've just ridden all year. It's not what normal people want to do. So Marcel Kittel's not coming back to cycling. Do I agree Sky messed up both Edvald Boasson-Hagen's career turning a top prospect? Nah, they didn't mess up his career. I think they've messed up Kwiatkowski's career. But Boasson-Hagen has had a great career regardless of what he did. Has done at Sky. Where would MVDP fit into sprint ability? I think MVDP is the best, versatile sprinter in the world, followed by pre-injury Wout van Aert, followed by Peter Sagan. But I think MVDP is the best, versatile sprinter in the world. 4th, probably Trenton. Who's my favourite for next year's tour? Egan Bernal, obviously. He's the favourite. 400 watts up Norton. Is that a goal of mine? No, it's not a goal of mine. Because to do a good time up Norton's, if I'm at good weight, if I'm not at that weight right now, but if I was at 59 kilos, I'd only have to do 340, 350 to do a pretty nice time. Lance had a good sprint, yeah, but did anyone remember that video? If it's still playing, here we are. Yeah, here it is. That video, Lance's back is so big. This is what was the most shocking thing to me. Lance had a good sprint because he was jacked. He was jacked to the teeth, man. Look at his back. No other riders look like that right now. And yeah, I know he has a triathlon background, but he was massive. A big dude in terms of his frame size. So, yeah, that's why he had like probably a pretty good sprint. But yeah, his back was massive. I think if he was in the modern era now, Lance would strip down that upper body mass. I'm pretty sure he wouldn't have looked like that in the modern era. But anyway, enough of Lance. Transition back. Could you guys believe how big Bernal was looking in that Chinese crit? Was Bernal overweight? I didn't see that. Pogacar will beat Bernal on the tour. I think Tadej Pogacar could come top 3. Mark P. GCN made fun of Rico and Rebellin for doping, but they didn't say anything about the Sky Doctor and testosterone. What do you think about this hypocrisy? To be honest, I didn't see what they said about Rico and Rebellin. I didn't see that. I did comment on one of their things a couple of weeks ago saying, do you want to actually cover what's going on? And they said, oh yeah, we'll do it once it's finalised. So waiting with bated breath for that, but not expecting too much. What do I think about Fuglsang at the Giro? I think the long stage will suit him. I think he's using it as a tune-up for the Olympics. I'm not sure. I don't think he should be using the Giro d'Italia to actually try and win it. As I said right at the start of this video, I think riders like him and Porte should be focusing on 1 week's races, focusing on 1 day races that suit them, like Liège-Bastogne-Liège, Flèche-Wallonne, the Olympics road race. I don't think Fuglsang's ever going to win a Grand Tour. I don't think that's who he is. He's a fantastic special rider in a different way, in almost a more exciting way, to be honest. It's better becoming winning Liège-Bastogne-Liège, winning Dauphiné, and Porte won Paris-Nice in 2015, maybe winning those sort of races, plus contending in the Italian Classics and getting Olympic medals. I'd rather be that rider than coming 6th in Tour de France, to be honest. What Jumbo-Visma rider will be leader at each Grand Tour, do you think? Now that is a good question, Job Herman. So thank you for that good question. Let's go to their team. That is a good question. Why hasn't anyone mentioned the Beast Roglic? I guess because we don't know what's going to happen with Jumbo-Visma next year. If I can try and find their rider profiles, making me accept their cookies. Oh, their website, Jumbo-Visma, their website. I just want to go to your team, see all that. You're paying a lot of money on salary for all these boys. I just want to see your team. Come on. Here we go. All right. So, because I would got to remind myself, Stefan Kruijswijk, Primož Roglic, and Tom Dumoulin. That is nuts. I think I'd take that over the top 3 guys at Ineos. Now, I'm not saying that Jumbo-Visma are going to be more successful than Ineos next year, but Froome coming off catastrophic crash injury, Egan Bernal, we haven't seen what Bernal can do below 2,000 meters altitude and with more time trial kilometers. So, Egan Bernal not proven outside of a high altitude, low TT environment. Now, I do think he's going to do. Now, I'm not one of the people who say, "Oh, he just got lucky." I don't believe that. But that's one thing to think about. Geraint Thomas on the decline. I'm not saying he's washed up, but he's not getting better now. He's clearly on maybe a slow decline. So I would take I would take Roglic, Dumoulin, Kruijswijk over those 3 guys. And really, I don't think... In fact, Kruijswijk should be domestique is the real answer. And he should have second preference to whatever Dumoulin and Roglic want to do. Carapaz is not on the level of Roglic or Dumoulin or Froome or Bernal. He's not on their level, to be honest. I think Roglic is the best rider in the world right now. Is the best overall rider in the world. Not a controversial opinion because he has the most UCI points in the world. So he's the best rider in the world. Dumoulin, best time trialist. I think it should be Dumoulin at Giro, Roglic. But then the problem is, if Dumoulin goes to Giro because, it suits him more than the Tour de France, well then Roglic would have to go to Tour de France if they were splitting it, and then Roglic wants to go for the Olympics road race. And you can't be trying to win the Tour de France and do the Olympics road race. Although Roglic backed up pretty well for the fall classics, but they're too close to each other. If you look at the dates, the Olympics road race is the first day of the Olympics. That's what people haven't realised yet as well, rescheduling, because I was doing this for preparing for the live stream I'm going to do. Seb Berwick says apparently Wiggins backed up. Yeah, but Wiggins was next level. Maybe Roglic could back up, but I think a lot of riders like Roglic are actually going to want him to be avoiding the Tour. Same with Dumoulin. They want to avoid the Tour because they want to have a longer break into the Olympics. Whereas this is like Tour finishes, it's like a week, 10 days. There's no break at all. And this Tour de France looks hard as well. It looks pretty hard compared to previous years. It's of welter type difficulty. So yeah, that'll be interesting. Who do I think is sort of in the pecking order at Jumbo-Visma? I think it's Roglic number 1. Clearly, he's a better rider than Tom Dumoulin. I think 2 is Dumoulin, and I think Kruijswijk is going to get told what to do, or should be told what to do. He was unlucky to lose that Giro that one year when he crashed into the wall, but yeah, Roglic and Dumoulin are much better riders than him. At Ineos, who do I think is going to... I reckon I've covered this already. No, I'm not going to do that again. I'm not doing it anymore. I can't. Talking about who's going to go where, I don't know. We'll see now. I'll do an update next year. Where's Rowan Dennis going next year? Dennis would be happy with any team that has a TT bike he likes to ride. Okay, people have asked us a few times, where is Dennis going next year? I don't know. Does he know? I don't know. Whatever team will pay him and has space for him, right? Like, the problem is he wasn't in teams' plans earlier on, and now they've probably used up their budget, and to pay him the money Rowan Dennis, best time trialist in the world, not close. Rowan Dennis is a freak. He's the best time trialist in the world. Back-to-back world champs with very stressful preparation this year. He's an animal, former world record holder. So he deserves to be paid a lot of money, and people were surprised by. There was a Velo News article, I think it was. I don't know who put it out, and he got a bit testy on Twitter. Actually, we'll show you what happened on Twitter. Let's go. While we're here, I'm not in any rush. I got up early for this, so all right. And I brought the brunt of this as well. So let's find his tweet. So there's been a bit of beef. There's been a bit of beef on Twitter, right? And transition. So Velo News, I think, or Gregor Brown put up an article talking about, and some of you may have seen this, talking about how much Rowan Dennis was set to lose for these contract stuff. And Andrew Talansky put out a tweet to Velo News and Gregor Brown saying, maybe you should try hiring real journalists for once, or keep your mouth shut when you don't know what you're talking about. What a joke. And then what you won't see if you go through this timeline now is that Rowan Dennis was in the sub tweets talking, but then he's since deleted that, I think. So he deleted what he was tweeting. And I bore the brunt of this because when I put up my Rowan Dennis, why he got his contract terminated, Adam Hansen, who I think is friends with Rowan Dennis, Adam Hansen commented on my video saying I was misleading the public and I'm an idiot and it's really irresponsible and everything I said was wrong. But then I said, what did I say was wrong? And he didn't respond. So there's that. And it's similar to, now I think there are problems with this article, if I'm honest. Having just said what I said, I think there are actually problems with this article that don't make any sense. The article says, the contract was terminated on September 13th, and then Bahrain were waiting for him to come back so that then to do well in World Champs, and then they were going to mend, and then they'd unterminate the contract. That's not how contracts work. Once they're terminated, You need a new contract. So that do make sense. So yeah, I'm not sure, but anyway, the point of me bringing this up, and I think point of me bringing this up was that people were surprised that Rowan Dennis was getting, on €1 million contract or whatever. Surprised by it. And it's like, no, that is what Rowan Dennis should be paid. Rowan Dennis should be paid €1 million plus because he's the best time trialist in the world. And you should be able to market your team around him. He's an animal. He came second in Tour de Suisse. Yeah. Now, the problem is that's what he deserves, but teams don't have that budget. I think the problem is they don't have that budget for him because it's the timing sequence, and they'd have to go to sponsors to get more money. It's just, it's tough for him. I hope he sorts it out, to be honest. I hope he sorts it out just from an Australian perspective, because he's going to win. He's going to win us Olympic gold next year. That's for damn sure. All right, we're coming up to the end of the live stream. I will be uploading this stream as a video. It will stay up. So we got 5 minutes for quick question time now. Do I ride on Zwift? No, I don't. A training platform, Sufferfest, reached out to me yesterday saying, do I want to do stuff with them? Let me know if I should do Sufferfest or Zwift. I really want to grow the channel big enough so that I can afford one of those Zwift bikes, the Wahoo bikes. They're crazy. How old am I? 26. What's my opinion on Quintana going to a second class team? Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen for him. I don't think it's going to be a great year for Quintana next year, to be honest, but he will be getting paid a fair bit of money. Chances for Gilbert to win Milan-San Remo, low chances. He'd have to escape on the Poggio, and that almost never happens in the modern era or in the last few years. Chance, did I get up after a bike ride? No, I got up and did this. What happened to Terpstra and Barguil? Yeah. Where's Warren Barguil? Where the fuck is Warren Barguil? What's happened to him, man? Tour de France. Anyone see him the route presentation? Does anyone see this? Tour de France still got him on the stage with like Bernal and Pinot and stuff. It's like, get him off, man. Now I like Warren Barguil, smart guy. He's like Bardet, smart guys. Ooh, voice crack. Sorry. Smart guy, but he ain't on their level, and I don't know what's happening to his career. Cancellara versus Rowan Dennis. Rowan Dennis is better. Probably reached a higher level at pure time trialing. But Cancellara is was obviously a better rider overall. All right, last 2 minutes. Ooh. Door slammed. Thanks for all my cycling videos. Thank you. Peter Sagan versus me on Tour Down Under. Yeah, Peter Sagan will be. Yeah, that was the door to the bathroom slamming. Okay, scared the shit out of me. I don't think Rowan Dennis is going to Mitchell & Scott, but I don't really know. I'm sick of commenting on it. He'll go wherever. Why do I think Sky ruined Kwiato's career? Well, I think Kwiatkowski could have been like an all-time, like classics rider, etc. But he got the money and he was on the Sky train. Look at what he did. He beat Sagan in multiple finishes to, Strade Bianche, other races as well. So, he was a crazy good rider. He just didn't get as many opportunities nowadays. All right. Thanks for joining the stream, y'all. Really enjoyed it. Had fun doing this. Hope the tech worked out pretty well. Hope the audio is pretty good. And I'll see you later. Ciao.